What is industrial metal? Well, first off, we must tackle what industrial music is in general. It is typically a rock and electronic hybrid that has a harsh mechanical sound to it. Hence, industrial. It almost sounds as if you were just listening to the natural rhythms of machinery in a factory or something. It is consistent and repetitive. Unlike other rock and metal genres, the line between industrial rock and industrial metal is quite blurred. Nine Inch Nails are considered the quintessential industrial rock band, and while I generally agree with that assessment and categorization, even they bleed into metal a bit at times. I think that the very harshness of the style can make differentiating these two largely a matter of opinion, which is not something that I typically say. Marilyn Manson is another artist commonly labeled both industrial metal and industrial rock, though I am pretty confident in calling Antichrist Superstar an industrial metal album. Manson have quite a varied discography, however. On Mechanical Animals, they infuse glam into their industrial sound. And on Golden Age of Grotesque, they blend in some rap metal. This diverse array of influences is possibly why Marilyn Manson is often not really considered metal by many metalheads. Industrial metal is heavily associated with the goth subculture, and many artists in this genre are influenced by goth rock genres, such as post-punk and darkwave. I'm not even gonna bother trying to explain what these genres are in this video, but I thought I should mention it. It's especially present in Manson's music. Some examples of more raw and pure industrial metal are Ministry, Godflesh, and KMFDM. They all have their own unique influences, but very much embody the essence of industrial metal. There is also what I suppose you could call a subgenre of industrial metal called New German Hardness, a somewhat silly sounding name, but maybe it sounds better in the German language. These artists combine industrial metal, alternative metal, groove metal, and techno. The big guns of this offshoot are Rammstein, but a couple other bands are Oomph, Why don't you move me, my little darling, and Megahertz.
Den Trend, sie ist gefährlich, obszön, vulgär, abgrundtief, unehrlich.
Also, despite not even being German, I think that Powerman 5000 is absolutely this style as well.
Now this is what it's like when worlds collide. You ready to go? I'm ready to go.
As mentioned in the previous video, Prong and White Zombie have delved into industrial metal as well. Rob Zombie in general is industrial metal, but with some hard rock influence, creating a sort of industrial metal and roll sound. Many industrial metal bands are heavily influenced by nu metal. These include Static X, American Head Charge, and Disturbed on their first album. Later on, Disturbed mostly dropped the industrial influence, minus little flourishes of it here and there. Fear Factory blends industrial metal and groove metal. and they have evolved with the times, as their early material has some influence from nu metal, but their newer stuff is more djent inspired. Finally, Celldweller / Circle of Dust is another versatile industrial metal project worth checking out. The theme of industrial metal music is a bit on the nose and fairly obvious, that being that it is about the Industrial Revolution and its consequences. It is about this mechanized world where people feel like they are just products on an assembly line. Marilyn Manson's music is often very much discussing how we live in a sort of brave new world, and seems to both celebrate and lament this. Fear Factory's music tackles topics from the totalitarian technocratic police state to the loneliness and emptiness of the robotic lives we live. And Celldweller also have some pretty based lyrics about this hive mind of restricted thought that seems rather omnipresent in the internet age. Of course, I will put a little disclaimer here and say that this is all my interpretation of it anyway. Often, artists will state that their songs mean something completely different than what their lyrics would otherwise suggest. I'm not sure how much of this is cognitive dissonance, or just saving face so they don't offend anybody, or if these artists are just letting the muse run through them while making music, and that their guess as to the meaning of their own music is just as good a guess as yours or mine. But I thought I should bring this up in a video since I constantly say that a genre objectively means this or that, and that seems to be a bit too rigid for people. I'll state here that I may indeed get specifics wrong, but I am fairly confident in the broader themes of genres. Of course, since bands often blend styles, the themes may blur together as well, and explore more niche topics. So for the New German Hardness genre, if you consider it one, it has a much stranger theme to it because of its wide array of influences. Industrial metal in total, though, is a reaction to modernity, this conveyor belt where we are rendered zombie-like, where our distorted angst is just another noise amongst all the other machines. Our acculturation continues as we explore metal's overcomplicated genres.